Season 2, we are here. Coach Prime and the Colorado Buffaloes escape barely in a dogfight against North Dakota State University. They won 31 to 26. There's a lot of negative that I want to start with, but I'm not. I'm going to start on the positive tip, okay? But I will say this. If you're a Colorado fan, if you are a gambler out there, for the sake of your life, do not bet that the Colorado Buffaloes will cover. That does not appear what will happen this year. I'm sorry. It is what it is. They may win a lot of games, but I would not bet them for my life to cover. They came nowhere close to covering. So that's my tip to you all if you gamble. All right, let's just get into it. What are the positives that came from this? Shedeur was dominant. All right, I'll say that. Number one, Travis Hunter was dominant. Number two, the other good part about the game, before I get into something that is very, very important, is number three, this was a great test for them going into Nebraska. Nebraska was going to be a physical team. And by the way, they are going to need to be able to cover wide receiver because Fat Pat Mahomes, he can throw the ball, okay? He's a freshman. He may be nervous, whatever the case may be, but you're going into Nebraska and he can throw the ball. North Dakota State, of course, is a legacy FCS team. Everyone knew this game would be tough. They didn't think it would be down to the wire tough, but it is what it is. I'm going to start with the most negative part, and I'm so sorry, Coach Prime. I got to do this. I want to be fair on this. We cannot have the coaching F-ups at the end of the game. You look back at last year, it was Oregon State, and so on and so forth. There were 5 games that they lost by less than a possession, okay? Less than 7 points. You go back and look at those and see if you would have made the right decision at the right time. This was indicative of that, okay? North Dakota State lost that game, and they would not have gotten the ball back if the refs bailed you out. I'm going to get to my game notes. At the end of the game, when they threw that 40, 50-yard pass to Webster, and it was a pass interference, the game should have been over, okay? Point blank, period. You run the ball, have them take a timeout because they only had one timeout left, and it was on the other side of the 2-minute warning or 2-minute stop, whatever college is calling it then or now. You do that, you run the ball, the game is over. There's no reason why North Dakota State should have had that ball at the end. If anything, it would have been a punt with 2 seconds left, and you punt that out of the end zone or punt that in the sideline, okay? So that is unacceptable. I can understand the rationale not to play scared and to actually throw the ball, but the throw that you all had was another long shot to whatever receiver it was. That is wasting time, effort, energy that you didn't need to. So at the end of the game, when say your DB's knocking the ball down, North Dakota State came within 5 yards of beating everybody on the last play, and everybody in the world is falling because you don't want to go into that kind of press conference because you just lost to an FCS team and basically the season is shot. All right. So moving on, the positives that I have from this, the O-line was a whole lot better. Now, I will say North Dakota State did not have they have NFL players on their team, but they are not known for their defensive linemen. I get that, but it was way better protection. I think Shedeur was sacked only once, and I didn't see him take any hard hits until the end of the game. And to me, that was still a cheap shot. The refs did not call. So that is a good thing. All right. Were they able to run the ball with consistency here and there? No. But if you have a team where you're going to be throwing the ball because your skill players are that much better, you need to have Hayden in the game. I love Charlie. I think he's earned the right to be a starter, but Hayden is more dynamic if you're expecting the back to catch the ball out of the backfield. He came up with a few good plays, but if you really want to get in the eye and run the ball, they have not shown us that, but at least they have an offensive line that can keep Shedeur upright. And to me, they were a whole lot more protective of Shedeur. When he was upset about a hit or he was upset at some player that kept laying on him too long, the line came right over and were right there to be a protector of Shedeur. That was a complete and utter night and day stark difference than last year to this year. So that is number one. It's very, very good. But all right, let's get into it. Shedeur was dominant, absolutely dominant. This man started the first quarter 5 of 5 for 134 yards and 2 touchdowns. That is dominance, all right. And that it was to the detriment kind of the defense because they were tired. You could tell they were tired. They didn't have any breaks. And North Dakota State were not going to beat themselves. They kept converting third downs, and even in the first half, not so much in the second half, but definitely in the first half, and that really got them dog tired. But the Buffalo's defense really throughout the game, for the most part, stopped the run. And again, I understand they're going against FCS talent, but it's still good to see they had good run fits at times. They lapsed, but let's just go over the game notes. All right. I came into the game thinking this would be exciting. I thought it would be a 10, 15-point victory. I didn't think they would cover. By the way, don't bet them. But I did not think it would be this. So I had way more excitement coming into the game. The defense started at first. The Buffaloes won the toss. They deferred. So out of the gate, Trevor Woods, my God, man. Oh my gosh. He got hit with what everyone in Madden calls an angle route, but in football it's just called a Texas route. The running back goes out as if he's running an out or a wheel route, and then he cuts back in. He catches the ball. It goes 30, 40 yards. Trevor, you are a former safety. They had to bring you down as a weak side linebacker. You should be able to cover a running back. And I'm not saying you can't get beat on that play because it's a play that's ran a lot, especially if you're out of position. But there's no way you should not have made that tackle. That would happen for a weak side, strong side linebacker that is overweight and should not be covering running backs. To me, that just started off the game the wrong way. I don't understand how that happened. However, they were able to rally 3-0 North Dakota State. They kicked the field goal about 12 minutes in the first quarter. Here, the first star for Charlie, he had a big conversion, and then all of a sudden it was a big play. It was a Travis Hunter 5-yard out that he turned into a 41-yard break, which was just love. Now, he's going against North Dakota State cornerbacks. He's going against North Dakota State safeties. Fully expecting the Big 12 for that not to happen as often. So I love that it happened, but I just want to temper expectations. He had 3 touchdowns tonight. He was absolutely dominant. He had a super Madden glitch type of catch that we're going to go over in a second. But he was one-on-one with a short route with a cornerback. The cornerback had no chance, and that just started the game off great for the Colorado Buffaloes. The North Dakota State offense, they can move the football. If you saw some of the personnel, they have NFL talent on that team. Trey Lance's brother is on that squad. So they were going to be competent all night. I didn't think it would be that contentious at the end. But the defense had not settled. From what I saw for Colorado, the defense is going to need to gel. That's going to happen throughout the season, but, there's still transfers. There were still newer people in, and I think they're going to need some time to develop, but they kept moving the chains. I had to write down this man's name. Cam Miller from North Dakota State is an absolute baller. I can see him playing on the next level. He's very Wentz-like. He was a big kid. He ran a lot. He threw the ball. He was accurate enough. I could definitely see him getting into the league, going to some developmental leagues, whatever, but having a decent career. He definitely could play. So it was disappointing for the defense to not be able to stop those kind of passes there. Colorado's big claim to fame is their defensive backs, and they were getting beat on the throw. I mean, they kept throwing and converting until they got a touchdown. It was 10-7 North Dakota State. Now, I mean, it's just concerning because the teams in the Big 12 can throw. All of them can throw. Arizona, who has the best wide receiver to me, even though Travis was a crazy night, best wide receiver in the country to me, he's going to be on their schedule. Oklahoma State can throw the ball. Even Baylor can throw. So if you're going to start Big 12 play, and they're going to be throwing the ball a lot. So it was 10-7. It was a quick throw to Jimmy Horn. He broke it. It was a 70-yard touchdown. I love that throw because pressure came. They did a blitz against Shedeur. He did not flinch. He released it at the right second. Boom. Jimmy came right underneath it. And I wrote down, it's 14-10. I wrote down the defense has got to step up, and they did not. I feel like the refs were missing a lot of holding flags, but I mean, the new defensive coordinator looks sick. I mean, he just they just kept converting the ball. The second quarter started. They kept throwing to the running backs out of the backfield. I'm like, why aren't the linebackers covering? Why are the running backs that much better than your skilled players? But what ended up happening, what I saw was they're not going to be throwing on Travis' side. They're not going to be throwing to Travis's player. They played Travis much like Stanford played him last year. They are going to run on his side, make him get off blocks. They're going to make him tackle and try to wear him out or injure him on the defensive end of the ball. If we're not going to throw the ball, we're at least going to run it towards your end. He had some tackles, but you could see, he may not, that's not his strong suit, is all I'm saying. So the defense could not stop shit. They ended up scoring 17-14 on North Dakota State. Then the Buffaloes could not convert on their offensive side. They could not convert a fourth and inches. It was tough. The defense is back on the field, and they got a break. They were able to hold on and hold them to a field goal where it was 20-14 North Dakota State. At that point, you realize they were on a dogfight. Again, Coach Prime said many times they're not going to beat themselves. They are going to play sound football. Luckily, the Buffaloes got the ball right before the end of the half, went down, long throw to Jimmy Horn, was able to kick a field goal right before the halftime blew. But the time of possession was crazy. I'm just going to tell you, at the end of the game, the time of possession was 36 minutes and 44 seconds for North Dakota State and 23 minutes and 16 seconds for Colorado. I mean, that happens when you have quick strikes, but that's still a crazy amount of time for your defense to be on their heels. And they really didn't come to play until halftime. After halftime, I don't know if it was just some kind of metamorphosis. Maybe they played it different, but they were able to finally settle and fit run gaps. And I think they played a lot more man, which ended up biting them in the butt in the full quarter, but we'll get to that. So they got the ball in the third quarter. The Colorado Buffaloes, they just continue to struggle in short yardage. They just do not have dynamic backs that move the third and ones, third and twos, third and threes. It's just I haven't seen it just yet. They got down to the goal line, though. They were about to take control of the game. It's 2017. They're about to score, but it ended in a fluke interception on third and goal. I mean, the corner fell. He was on his face, and the ball just ended up hitting his foot, and it pops up. Somebody grabs the interception. That wasn't on Shedeur necessarily. I just think it was just a fluke, interception. But the Buffaloes get back on. They have Jimmy Horn kept running, freeing coverage. It was incredible route running by Travis Hunter to get the next touchdown. So they went up 24-20 against the North Dakota State Bison. It was the 100th touchdown of Shedeur, and of course, career touchdown, and of course it went to Travis. It was a great catch. He had unbelievable body control at that point, because I remember writing this down, and that was nothing compared to his third touchdown. But that play was incredible play action, and it was a great throw. He was able to get off the press of 17. 17 played Travis Hunter really tough all night, but he put up the Buffaloes 24-20 over North Dakota State. At that point, you think, okay, maybe they get some momentum. They just got to stop him. But Cam Miller, again, he impressed. He definitely reminded me of Carson Wentz. And again, North Dakota State has put out a lot of NFL players. Whether you're talking about Carson Wentz, Trey Lance brother, I told you, is on the team. They had a number of offensive linemen. They get NFL players in there. They're just not consistent across the board. And I know there's the kid up there in Green Bay. I forgot his name. He's a wide receiver. He's really, really good as well. I believe his name might be Watson. But anyway, Hunter made it happen again. They finally got a chance to take over the game. They went up 31-20. That was the glitch catch. It was third and goal. The play was just dead on arrival, and Shedeur just threw it on a rope out there, hoping Travis could make a play. And guess what? He made a play. It was crazy. He was getting actively pushed down and basically caught it with one hand. It was ridiculous. 3 touchdowns. Get Travis another podcast and some more NIL money, because it was crazy. At that point, you really having the Travis wide receiver defensive back conversation, because he has made a jump at wide receiver. And I get he's going against FCS talent, but he made a jump at wide receiver And if he's a DB and they're not throwing it to him, that's where he's going to make his bones this season. And he's already off to an unbelievable start. But here you think 31-20, Colorado's finally going to take control of the game, and that's going to be it. But at that point, they are playing too much man. Playing too much man because they brought in the big kid, the big quarterback that they had to just run the ball, and with Cam. And every second or third down, they would drop back, they would notice their man, and then they would take off running. And that's how he ended up scoring the last touchdown for North Dakota State. Now, again, I talked about this earlier. They just could not cover well. But when they went to man and they were really in their face, they could not see quarterbacks running behind them. So when he scored and made it 31-26, they went for a 2-point conversion. Thank goodness they missed it. It was there. It was the classic rollout play. The Colorado, again, they bailed. The refs bailed Colorado out at the end. It was a pass interference. They should have bled the clock, but it was a major F up. And they are lucky to win that game because at the end, when they caught the ball, they should have knocked it down. They shouldn't even had that, but they could have literally easily won that game in Folsom Field. Again, Nebraska's coming up. We're going to cover that game. But again, I just want to talk about Shedeur's dominance. Even though Travis went insane, he went 7 for 132, 7 catches, 132 yards. But it was the clutch plays, not so much the yards. Every time they needed a play, they went to Travis, and he made it happen. He had some of the toughest catches throughout that game. Jimmy Horn, I know he had 198 yards, but for the most part, he was running free. And I think he was running free not only because of assignment mess-ups, because he was one-on-one or the attention was put to Travis. Now, going into Nebraska, they are going to have to figure out the run game. What are they going to do? And more importantly, another wide receiver, sets of wide receivers are going to have to step up. Got to keep Shedeur upright. He can make the throws, but they are going to be a hostile crowd going into Lincoln. They're going to have a hostile Nebraska team who remembers the whole the whole motion came from that game last year. They were going to be pissed off. And by the way, they got a quarterback who wants to be Pat Mahomes that can throw the ball. So it is very imperative that they get this shit together. And that's why I think this game was very, very critical for them and for their advancement, because if they would have won that game by, say, 20-something points, they would have sleepwalked into Nebraska. This showed them what is absolutely necessary. They're going to go into a physical game, hostile work environment, and they're going to have to make it happen. I think that this at least puts them on alert that they're going to have to raise their game up. And then the third week, they're going to have to raise their game up even more because Colorado State's going to be a physical game. So if they want to start off 3-0, it starts with being more consistent running the ball. It starts with having the more dynamic personnel in if you're going to throw the ball. And by the way, another wide receiver has to step up. And for the love of everything, my goodness, your linebackers, Trevor Woods and them, will have to cover the running backs out of the backfield. And they're going to have to figure it out on the back end, because that if they had better wide receivers across the board, North Dakota State could have not been stopped. They would have put up over 40 points. And again, the Buffaloes would have started 0-1. But the good part, again, they started 1-0. It's a great start to the season. No matter how you slice it, a win is a goddamn win. So we'll see how it goes. I'm sorry I talked for too long, but it's been too long. I'm so happy that the season's back started. I'm so happy that football's back on TV. Y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments below. Please like, subscribe, comment. Appreciate it. Heritage Sports.